What's up, people? It's your hosts, Jose and Alex.
He's right.
On another episode of The Mind Behind the Curtain. So, this is going to be our third episode talking about aliens. And on our last episode, on our second part episode or segment of aliens or about aliens, we talked about the mafia aliens. I want to call them the maphilians.
Sicilian.
The Sicilians. What are they called? What are they?
Sicilia.
Cecilia.
Sicilia. Listen to me.
Okay, there's the Sicilia.
Sicilia.
So, and now we're gonna go right into this. And let's turn the music down and let's get right into part 3 of aliens.
Yahoo.
To kick it off, we're gonna get Jose talking about the rest of the alien species that are out there, the souls that might be out in the universe, the souls that might be here on Earth. We don't know.
Much. Yeah, we don't know because the situation with all of this, nobody knows.
Yeah, not for sure.
Nobody knows here on Earth anyway.
That's right.
Unless you're high level security and you got that clearance and that special card, fingerprint and ID with your eye and lasering.
Yeah, like Men in Black kind of stuff.
Yeah, level
right.
Clearance of millennia.
That's right.
Something like that.
So if you don't have a clearance like that, you may resort to drugs. You know, like maybe
DMT.
DMT. Some mushrooms. Some ayahuasca.
What's the frog?
Yeah, the liquid or the cream that comes out of the frog's butt. You know, that makes you. Apparently, you know, talking about the frog real quick. Apparently, if you lick that frog, right, the trip is crazy, man. You like tap into a different dimension, but it doesn't last that long.
Well, that's like DMT.
Yeah, it's only like seconds. It's like 10 seconds, 15 seconds apparently. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're on that trip and you come out of it, it seems like you were gone for hours, man.
And it's only 5 minutes.
Maybe less.
And I heard that with that type of trip, you might be going crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And falling over and punching the wall and doing whatever.
Or you might be just comatose thing, just like this and just out completely.
And you need a Shaolin.
A shaman, you definitely need somebody to guide you, man.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be another one of our segments, another episode. We're gonna talk about astral travel, and just on the topic of astral travel, I mean, if these aliens have been going around traveling through different dimensions, different planets, and obviously they've come here, right? We want to talk about the most popular aliens that everybody's been talking about.
Yeah.
The ones that we hold responsible for our creation, apparently. And again, this is not to like
so-called creation.
Yeah, this is not to like debunk the alien creation of humans or what the Bible says or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is purely for fun, right? But this is something that
make your own mind up.
Yeah, that people always have, been intrigued by. Like, did the Anunnaki make us, right? And who came before the Anunnaki? And that's what this last
and why has it been
about.
suppressed from our history? If it's true that we evolved from them, genetically engineered.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That we were genetically engineered.
Yeah.
And if they put that into our history books, there'd
be no religion.
It would be too crazy, right?
Yeah, religion would be destroyed and politics wouldn't exist. And
for sure.
Governments would never form.
Or a different perspective towards our politics on how we deal with things, and maybe a different type of government body.
Yeah.
And that leads right into the conflict that we did a research on, and it was the conflict between the Anunnaki and the Draconians. Right?
Yeah, Alpha Draconians.
The Alpha Draconians, man.
Yeah, they're crazy people out there.
Well, how crazy are they? How crazy were they?
Well, let's talk about the Anunnaki, for instance, first, right? People saying they're coming from Nibiru, Planet X, which everyone's been talking about. Oh, I've seen Nibiru. It's there, and
it's in
coming.
Movies. It's in the alien movies, like Aliens. In the last the Covenant or whatever it was called. They drew the 3 stars, and it's all over the Mesopotamian.
And it's kind of funny because everything we've seen in movies now have drawn up to where we are now in 2020. What's happening, right? Yeah. So imagine if that is part of what we're supposed to be actually relating to.
So maybe down the road that's the way that these this body of people, right, call it Hollywood, the government, whoever is in charge of this, scientists, mad scientists, whatever, crazy directors or crazy producers or writers are basically conditioning us. Are they conditioning us?
Conditioning our minds for sure.
You think that's what it is?
I believe that because, I mean, that's my theory. It doesn't have to be everybody's theory, but I feel that because I always said movies are either where we are, where we're going, or where we've been.
I agree with you. Right? And the thing is about those movies is that, for instance, in my experience, the more that I watch, the more I feel like accepting the fact that we were created by some alien species. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it feels like that.
Yeah, and it feels like that. I mean, we belong on this planet. We were created so we can live in this planet. You know, and live off its resources. Now, obviously, now they're genetically enhancing all the vegetables and fruits and stuff. So if they're doing that now, imagine like an alien race.
I always say, look at all the verse. What's the word I'll be looking for? Diversity within not only humans, the forms, the color, the shades, and all that aspect, but the animals as well.
Oh yeah.
And to me, once again, it's my theory, people. I feel that we came from another planet. Okay.
Yeah, like the human race.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No matter what we look like, we like
exactly.
Like there was an Asian form of humans, a black version, a Latino, somewhere else, and we all came here. Okay. Yeah.
And maybe this is a prison. You know, maybe this is like, you know how they talk about,
or a manufacturing plant.
Exactly.
You never know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about purgatory in the Bible. Right. And it's supposed to be so bad and you have to go through so much to make it a heaven or hell. Right. Which way, what direction you're going to go.
Yeah.
This is purgatory. That's what I feel. That's my
and you know, and I mean, I agree with you in that sense that this could be purgatory. This could be the place where we're being tested. You know, where we see how much we can endure, because obviously our lives have come with a lot of challenge, and we struggle, and like, you know, the famous saying, the struggle is real. You know, and we have to survive somehow. And ultimately, I think that's, you know, once we pass this purgatory stage, we'll be prepared for the next stage.
I think this is like our final test.
Okay, yeah.
You know, we've been having exams throughout our life, and now we're coming to our final test.
I wonder what the other tests were before this one. If this one is
we've always evolved throughout history, right?
Yeah.
And either scientifically we've evolved, or evolutionary we've evolved. You know.
Okay, so this is the testing grounds, and it has always been the testing grounds.
A test tube.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
And so throughout our evolution, we've been I guess presented with different types of challenges, you know. And as our mind as it keeps expanding and our knowledge keeps expanding, our skills and all this stuff, our challenges keeps getting more complicated, more complex.
Well, it's like a video game, different levels.
Yeah, going to a different level for sure. 100%.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, a game of life.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Just like the one we used to play on the board, and we twist and we go around, right? It's the same thing, right?
And then and if we've had those challenges, what about the aliens? Did they have those type of challenges, or I mean, have they lived long enough, like hundreds of thousands of years, that they've already like said, hey, we only want to go and take over planets, and
or help.
Or help other planets.
I don't believe they're all hostile.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about going back into our topic, which is the Anunnaki versus the Alpha Draconians, right?
Yeah.
The Alpha Draconians, you know, apparently they were here, or they existed before the Anunnaki.
Exactly.
And the Alpha Draconians have very similarities to the dinosaurs and to the reptilians.
22 feet tall.
22 feet tall, man. So who is to say that maybe the dinosaurs were aliens? And at one point,
because you did say to me that they did have their own language.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, lizards and like in our present time, lizards or animals, they communicate through different sounds and vocal sounds. Yeah, like what do you call it? The guttural or guttural, whatever you pronounce that word, where they use their gut to make the sounds, right? Yeah. And then the clicking sounds and all that shit. I mean, thanks for the compliment.
It's just like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They make all these weird noises, right? But we never seen them, or so-called haven't seen them.
No.
You know?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, animals have their own way of communicating, you know? Like, I have a pigeon out in my patio, man, that comes in here every morning. And it comes in, I guess, with his partner. Yeah. And I hear them communicate. I think they're having sex, dude. They're like, woo, 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 woo. You know, they're doing all these sounds. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell are these guys talking about? But it sounds sexy to me. Yeah. You know, I've never been turned on by a pigeon before. I got turned on by it. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, going back to the Draconians. Yeah, they have their own language. Yeah. Obviously, it sounds like growls and stuff like that and clicking noises. There was one movie that I remember, which was called Signs with Mel Gibson. I don't know if you remember that. And Joaquin Phoenix. And they had aliens that were like hiding in the crops, and they were doing the crop circles.
Yeah, they had that. I mean? But before that, they had another movie. And they look like draconians, or they kind of look like lizards.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they were like remember the 6'5", 6'6", or whatever. They were super tall.
Yeah. And Enemy Mine.
Oh, the 1980, like in the 80s, late 80s. Yeah. Brilliant movie, man.
That was amazing. You guys want to see a great alien movie? Watch Alien Mine. Yeah. That was brilliant because it kind of remind me, this is how they are starting to conduct with our mind to change and recondition us about aliens, you know, and the draconian looking or the reptilian looking, because they did. And then he also had his own language.
And it sounded like clicking. Exactly. And same with the movie in Signs. The alien did that clicking sound.
Yeah.
You know,
so I think they are reconditioning us, dude.
Right. And you know what? Now that I think about it, in some parts of Africa, for example, when they speak, they have that clicking sound. They're like, woo, woo, woo. You know what I mean?
And that brings back the African tribe called the Dogon.
Oh, the Dogon. That's right.
Dogon
we had a conversation about
is an amazing tribe that knows our solar system, knows Sirius A and B without even having any telescopes or any power to even see that type of that distance. Like, come on, like
and they can draw up the
everything,
the star systems like the Orion and all those places.
And then what was really intriguing about their story is they heard the saucers come down, as we used to call them, flying saucers, until they turned into UFOs. And they used to have this cloth or something, and something was at the end of it, and they whip it around and it made that noise going. Yeah. Super fast. So
and they use it in their rituals, don't they? Yeah.
So there's so much to it, you know. Yeah. Our history, we don't know our history.
No, you're right. And talking about that swirling sound, I was at the airport with a friend of mine taking pictures, you know, out here in Richmond. And this is like summer of 2018, okay? And so we're out there and we're watching the planes fly over us, and we're taking pictures and stuff like that. And there was a photographer there, and he was taking pictures of the same, angles that we were taking pictures, because he liked them, right? He liked that angle. And when we walked over to him to see what his pictures looked like, we were all standing like in a huddle, right? The three of us, right? Yeah. Pre-COVID-19, obviously. And we were like 2019. Who knew, right? So we were right there next to each other with a stranger looking at the pictures. All of a sudden, the three of us, kid you not, man, we heard that swirling sound. We heard this. We thought it was a helicopter coming right at us. We thought a helicopter was gonna fly right into us, man. So we all looked up, right? And we looked, and it was like a clear sky, man.
No clouds?
No clouds, nothing. Blue sky. But all of a sudden, we just heard this thing go. And it just disappeared, man.
We don't know if they can cloak. We don't know if they have invisible.
Obviously, of course they can cloak, man.
So it was probably something that was there.
Look at the moon, right? Look at the moon when it's like mid-afternoon or whatever, when it's a blue sky, and the moon looks transparent.
Yeah,
we're looking at the whole moon, right?
Yeah.
But then it's cut off, and it's like you can see the sky behind it.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Maybe they use the same technology as the moon, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they figure out that whatever materials or whatever particles or dust or whatever is out in the moon, they somehow materialized that and used it for their cloaking device, right? And it's just the way the light hits it, the reflection of the light that makes it transparent.
Yeah.
Right. But we heard the sound, man. Now,
that's crazy.
Back to the Anunnaki and the Alpha Draconians.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they were in a conflict.
Yeah.
Like who didn't like who?
Well, as soon as the Anunnaki came here, of course the Alpha Draconians, who are you stepping on our doorstep, right? They were the ones who were here first on Earth. And the Anunnaki came here, but they were more powerful. So conflict did happen. War. Who knows?
Right.
We don't know that, but the end of the dinosaurs happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, man. You know what? I just had a vision of like Alpha Draconians on top of dinosaurs, like just riding these dinosaurs back like millions of years ago, man. And just like, you know.
Well, they're 22 feet tall, so they could.
And you know what? Maybe they were the ones that were terraforming this planet, right?
Yeah.
Because apparently this planet wasn't inhabitable. Like back in like million years ago. Yeah. But they figure out a way to like create an atmosphere, right?
Well, you know what? That brings another movie, Transformers. There was one with taking away all the dinosaurs, right? And it was alien race that came down to transform the planet.
There you go. That's so true. That's so true.
I'm telling you, movies, man.
Back to the movies.
Yeah, it's always back to the movies.
The other thing too is that if there was a conflict between the Anunnaki and the Draconians, so were the Anunnaki the ones that figure out that the Alpha Draconians were evil entities? Were they good? Because obviously, if they had a conflict,
we don't know.
Right?
I believe there was most likely the Anunnaki wanted to enslave something here, to build something here, right? And maybe they did genetically engineered us, you know, as it's been told.
Maybe they used some draconian blood, and their blood,
maybe,
and then we are a result of that,
maybe,
right? Like how
but we have Anunnaki blood in us. I mean, DNA in us as well, right?
There's also those people that have that that type of blood that they call the alien blood.
Yeah.
It's like the H or whatever. I think it's like H something. Like
I gotta look that
H
up.
type. Yeah. But we can look that up, and that's probably another thing of our topics. Yeah. What I read up on the Alpha Draconians was that their lifespan was like crazy, man. Like the Draconians can live over thousands of years. Yeah. And they've also figured a way to reincarnate or to like pass their soul or what's so-called soul or energy into like who they wanted to reincarnate. Right? And that also explains why in some of the descriptions about the Alpha Draconians is that they fed off energy, like they needed energy. They ate all types of life forms, but the most thing that they needed was to draw that energy. Fear, which was drawn by fear.
And it's funny how the Alpha Draconians are still manipulating higher levels of government.
Right. And that's
sectors.
That's right. That's the thing about what do you call it? The reptilians, right? Like the reptilian families that apparently still exist in this planet, which is the royal families and all that. The Ivan, what's his name? Ivan Ike? No,
I believe maybe he's got it this. I think he got this wrong. Yeah. I think they're actually draconians because if you think of it, royal family's blood is draconian bloodline. So why would it be reptilian? You know what I mean? And reptilians were here afterwards, of course, but they were forced down underground, you know? So it can't, I don't believe it's reptilian. I believe it's draconian, but a different species of draconian. Right.
And I guess that brings up the topic about underground cities and caves and how they like to live and just like lizards, man.
And throughout history, we've seen caves, massive, but the way they're made are unbelievable.
Right,
they're just.
It's almost like you can't explain how
the engineering of it.
Yeah, how an ancient race would do that without the tools that we have now.
Exactly. Right? We can't even build half of that now.
Right. Without
what we have now.
That's right. Yeah. Or it would take years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's another thing too that I believe that, you know, when you look at all those underground caves and underground cities, you know, it explains, or it tells you, or it gives you a hint of how old this planet really is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those caves there, they can't even date them. They don't even know if they're like 15, 20, 30,000 years old. They're just guessing. But,
you were telling
but they
me
seem like they're old, man.
There's caves in Mexico where you can't actually take pictures because they said that the light of the flash would ruin.
Oh, that's some of the ruins.
Yeah.
And that brings up another topic that we'll talk about later. But I'll explain the audience about what I told you was that I went to a pyramid in near Chichen Itza, which is in the Quintana Roo province, right? Like in the Yucatan Peninsula. And so I walked into this pyramid, and they tell you that you can't take pictures because the flash is going to wash off the hieroglyphs, right? The painting on the wall. And man, what I saw there, and this is totally different than the aliens and stuff, but it's a topic that we should explore. In the depiction of this painting or this hieroglyph, right? You had all these travelers, right? All these people that were tradesmen that were coming in with an offering to the Mayan emperor, right? And the Mayan emperor sitting there cross-legged doing in a yoga pose, right? Just chilling. Oh. And he's got his feathers up in the air.
Yeah.
And there's a depiction of an Asian traveler, a black traveler, like an African American, what we call African Americans, well, let's say African black traveler, you know, wearing the whole leopard like outfit and everything, totally from Africa, you know, and he's there, and he's like offering some stuff. There was also depictions of a lighter skinned character that could have been like Norwegian or something, but they all were dressed in similar outfits, right? Like a similar like a sari kind of type outfit, you know, like clothing draped over their shoulders, and you know, ancient, right? But that's another topic that we can explore, where perhaps these civilizations, you know, had already discovered this continent. And it's obvious they've already discovered this continent, man. Of course.
Come on.
Of course. Which is totally another topic that we'll get into later with the whole, the Spaniards coming here and declaring that they discovered this land.
And even before them, it was the Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
the Vikings were here way before then.
That's right. That's right. And that's the other thing that brings up the fact that, you know, we don't know how old we are, right? Oh. And if these like aliens, right, like the Anuannaki and the Alpha Draconians and all these other ones, because you have another list of like 7 more species, alien species, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't date them, but we know that they must have been that this planet here is obviously hundreds of millions of years old. Yeah. So that leaves a whole window of exploration.
Well, that's like the Nordics. They looked like Vikings.
Right.
They looked like Thor. You know, blonde hair, blue eyes, muscle, athlete looking, you know, very intimidating, that type of feel, right?
Right.
And they liked humans.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Why? Because they looked like us.
Right.
So they found a similarity. We're ancestors of them.
Right. That's another theory too, right? That's a total different theory. That could be something that we can explore too later on another episode. Yeah. To see if perhaps we are actually the aliens. You know what I mean?
Oh,
human race is us, and we could be like, we talked about this before, that we could be ourselves, but from the future. You know what I mean? But anyway, so then that is gonna lead to our last question and our last thing to explore.
Wow. No, we have one more alien.
We have one more alien? Okay. One more alien?
Avians.
Okay, let's hear about new
aliens. Now,
the
blue avians, they liked us. They still like us, okay? But imagine this. You had a blue sphere, and you're able to teleport instantly to Earth. Without having any other technology, you're able to teleport.
You don't even need to check your luggage.
They don't have nothing, man. They don't even have to get on a UFO. Scrap that UFO. No. We're high tech.
Definitely.
You know,
and that brings up the theory of astral travel and
astral travel.
Different dimensions where people can go from one dimension to the other without having the necessity of jumping into like a spaceship or a UFO. Yeah. Right? Oh, sorry.
And then, another thing about the blue avians is really cool is that in Egypt, if you see the hieroglyphs, they always show like a bird.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is telling about the blue avians because that's what they looked like.
So bird-like.
They're bird-like humanoids.
Right.
Blue.
And you have that in the Mesopotamian hieroglyphs too, and in the and the Mayans and the Aztecs.
And
they have this,
it makes sense.
And they all carry like a purse. Do you notice they have a little purse?
Yeah, and it's funny how they like to help humans. As I read about them,
right.
And what we do, we've evolved, and maybe it's because of that race.
That's right. So they figure out maybe not only how to travel through dimensions, but also time travel, right? And it's funny because talking about that depiction of that bag, how all these hieroglyphs show
the purses,
and stuff.
I think that's
like
a key.
The purse could be a key, could be like some type of energy or a battery that sucks up energy and gives you. But the other thing that I noticed is that they're wearing a kind of like a watch. And it's depicted like a flower.
Yeah.
You seen that?
Yeah.
And when I saw the movie Endgame, right? With the Avengers Endgame, when Tony Stark he built a time machine and all this, he gave a watch to every Avenger.
I noticed
that looked like the freaking. Do they get the idea from that, or do they know something that we don't know?
Like I said, movies again.
Going back to the movies.
We're always going back to the movies, and we're not even criticizing movies right now. We're not critics.
Oh, wait until we get into criticizing movies. All right, so let's wrap it up with the. You got one more alien, or
no? This is the last one, but they're telepathic as well.
That's pretty cool, man. That's cool. So the last question is, do aliens have souls? What's your take on that?
Some do, some don't. Some are pure evil. They don't even believe in souls. They just want to take them and snatch them up and eat them.
So for them, it's
fear.
Is it energy that they're seeking, and they don't see it as a soul? Because when we talk about a soul, right, it comes with some type of how can I say? It comes with some type of compassion, and we always say, is it a good soul, or is it a bad soul, or is it an evil soul? So soul comes with a lot of like emotions and and feelings and all that. So,
frequencies of different emotions. I feel that's what a soul is.
So the aliens that don't have souls, but yet they seek energy, because a soul is also described as energy.
Yeah, fear is
so fear is an emotion.
It is totally. So
if you were to think of yourself as a machine, as a factory of emotions, right? Like us human beings. Is fear the most powerful energy that our bodies can create? Or can it be love? Can love defeat?
Love is the highest frequency.
So love is the highest. So why wouldn't they like shower us with flowers and shit and bring us like a cake and say, hey, we love you, man? And then when they got us right there,
manipulating us,
they kill us.
They'll kill us.
As soon as we tell them,
who knows? That might be their final plan. We don't know what their final plan is. We don't know what's going on now. It's 2020. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, we're definitely being bestowed the fear element throughout this whole fiasco. This whole pandemic, and you know what? Like honestly, it seems like even some humans don't have souls in this time of age, man. So maybe I think a lot of maybe you're right. That's how some aliens function, right?
Yeah, I think right now people. Because of everything that's going on, my theory, once again, I don't care what anyone says to tell you the truth about this, but I feel that we're getting reconditioned.
Right.
And for something. And we don't know what it is yet. Everyone is being brainwashed in such a sense that they don't even know it. Because they believe in everything that they see. Everything that they hear.
Right.
But they don't believe because they haven't had the experience to believe. But now they're starting to do all what they're doing, wearing masks, social distancing, and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
Is that for some greater...
Well, my take on that is that, they believe in the questions that they ask. So it's like is, for example, you already know that you like strawberry ice cream, right? You're in love with strawberry ice cream. You come into a house and the first thing you ask is like, hey, do you have strawberry ice cream? You know what I mean? And if they say no, we don't, then you'll be like, oh well, that sucks, and then later on the day, you're there sitting with the person that owns the house, and then you start talking about strawberry ice cream to that person. You know what I mean? You start saying, oh, you know what, strawberry ice cream is the best, it's excellent and all this, and then the person goes, well,
even though they don't like the flavor,
they'll
try it, and then they all
they'll be like, well, how come you know so much about strawberry ice cream? Have you ever had strawberry ice cream? And that person might be like, no, I never had it. I never had it. So
try it.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's try it out. And that's the thing about now. It's like all these people talking about the politics and the vaccines and all this stuff. But it's like, have you actually tried it? Have you actually tried running office? Have you actually tried being part of a government body? Like sitting there physically in an office with a stack of papers this high, right?
It's tedious.
Trying to like get everything done.
Straight tedious.
Have you been in a lab playing around with like, microorganisms and try to alter them,
slicing and dicing?
And that's the thing, right? They just like
but what my point was, I was getting across, is like it seems like everybody is turning into zombies in their own factor right now. It seems like they're.
Well, I noticed that because of fear. And
exactly that.
And that's the thing, man. Like
so if aliens like fear, getting back to the alien topic,
and that's what we're gonna go around back to that.
If aliens like fear so much, they're doing a freaking great job right now.
Oh, totally. And guess what they did like if you notice in our process of this whole thing, right? Because every country has their own timing, and they're all dealing with this in a different timing, right? In a different timeline. With us, I mean, what I noticed that in the beginning, especially between March and like middle of March, when they told us that we had to go into our 14-day quarantine, and then into April, like mid-April, right? People were walking around like zombies.
Totally.
They were freaking like,
especially in the supermarket.
Brainwashed.
Supermarket was.
They were like hypnotized.
Was something I've never seen before. Toilet paper. And. Of all things you would buy is toilet paper before you buy food. Because the media told you to, because we're going to run out. That makes you just.
And that's another topic too that we're going to be like, who started the toilet paper trend? Media. I think it was Australia. I think
some media outlet.
And then the media started blasting it. And then
crazy.
I think it was Australia.
And even the one ply was selling out. Who uses a one ply, people?
And in that note, this is how the Anunnaki took over the Draconians, man.
The one ply?
You don't need 2 ply. You need 1 ply. And
not even, no. We give you 0. You wipe your ass with your hand.
That's right. All right, man. Well, that concludes our 3-part segment of aliens. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And man, this is the mind behind the curtain. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Jose and Alex,
we are out. Crazy episode. I put some ice on you because you got a cold home. I know